All right, so I decided it will be a good idea just to create a quick video really to provide feedback in terms of your lesson plans. I also realize that next week is your micro teaching, and perhaps you would want some clarification on some areas of concern. And based on what I saw in some of the visits, I decided that we could look at some of those areas of concern. So this video will look specifically at your generalizations, the concepts, objectives, and teaching strategies or methods. So let's just start by looking at what the parts of the lesson plans are, or a lesson plan is really. And the image here shows gears, and I chose the gears because I wanted the idea that the different parts of the lesson plan are linked together. All right, so your generalization, concepts, and objectives really provide a purpose and direction for the lesson, and that drives you to select teaching strategies and learning experiences that match the objectives and help the students to come away with a main idea or the generalization. And then also your assessment has to be related to your objectives. Even your teaching strategies should be reflected in your assessment. So I want you to keep in mind that the different parts of the lesson plan are linked. It's like a puzzle that should fit together. So when you look at your lesson plan in its entirety, you should see that your objectives fit in with the generalization, that the teaching strategies are appropriate based on the objectives that you have, and that your assessment really is testing whether or not the students understand or have met those objectives, or the extent to which they have met the objectives, or the objectives have been met. All right. Let's look now at specifically at generalizations and concepts. Now I have displayed two generalizations and two sets of concepts for, let's say, two teachers. Now the first generalization, it says rotation is the spinning of the earth on its axis, and then it gives the concepts: rotation, axis, tilt, solar system, planet, and earth. Generalization 2, the rotation of the earth produces day and night, and then the concepts: rotation, earth, day, night. Now, which of the two generalizations is correct? I would go with number 2. If you look at number 1, it really is a definition. And if you think of the generalization as this main idea that you want the children to come away with, then ask yourself, do you want the children to come away with a definition, or do you want them to come away with something more? For the generalization 2, the rotation of the earth produces day and night, goes beyond a definition, and it really gives them this big idea, so to speak. And the concepts, now what I've been noticing is that sometimes what is being put down as concepts are really terms or definitions that the students will encounter within the lesson. So every term that you believe that the students may not be aware of are put down as concepts. And my impression, or my understanding rather, is that your concept is also related to the generalization, and therefore when you write the generalization, it should contain concepts. So in number 2, rotation is a concept, and that is included. Earth is a concept, as is day, as is night. Now let's look now at the objectives for this lesson. And again, we're going to do a comparison of what two teachers wrote. And I'm just going to pull up all of the concepts here. Sorry, the objectives. So objectives 1, under this category, you have recognize that the earth is a part of the solar system, define the term rotation, listen attentively to a video on the earth's rotation, state the length of time it takes the earth to make a complete rotation, and then draw a diagram representing how day and night are produced. And all of the objectives, both for objectives 1 and objectives 2, fulfill the criteria in that you have objectives from the 3 domains. So cognitive is there, psychomotor is there, affective is there. What one of the issues that I've been seeing is that most of the objectives that are used tend to stay in the lower range of Bloom's taxonomy. So things like understanding and comprehension is where a lot of the verbs are pulled from. So for me, if you look at the objectives in 2, I would prefer these objectives because you do have lower order in there, but you also have a higher order cognitive verb as well, and that one is evaluate. All right, so you don't just want to use define, explain, describe. You want to get into evaluating, assessing, creating, justifying. Those are some of the higher order objectives that should be included in the lesson. What I also like about objectives in terms of 2 are that these objectives really feed into what is going to be done in the lesson. So you get a good sense of what the students are doing in the lesson with objectives 2. And it is not that the ones objectives 1 are badly written or anything like that. It's just that I can see the direction of the lesson clearly with the objectives in 2. All right. So writing a description and then having the students evaluate by the end of the lesson that description that would have been written. I can see what's going to happen in that lesson. Dramatizing how day and night are produced. I get an idea of what a teaching strategy may be. So I can expect to see role play for a teaching strategy because the word dramatize is used. I know that students are going to draw a diagram which explains how day and night. So you get a good sense of where the lesson is going with the objectives. All right, so you want to be clear. Objectives are specific. So think about what the students are going to do. And then you're going to choose objectives that relate to what the students are going to do. Let's look now at teaching strategies. What is the best way for students to achieve the objectives is really what you should be asking yourself. So if I want students to write something or to dramatize something or to evaluate, or I want them to draw a diagram, that represents how day and night are produced, what is the best way for me to get them to achieve these objectives? That is what you do in terms of selecting teaching strategies. So you were asked to teach a group of persons how to change a flat tire. So what will be the best way to teach the group? So let's look. All right, A says you're going to divide the group into pairs and have them brainstorm how to change a flat tire. A video will then be shown and you will lead the group in a discussion on what to do. Sounds like some of the strategies that we use in our classroom, right? Maybe a think, pair, share is happening here. Have the students watching something, so maybe you're going to do some kind of lecture discussion type strategy. So this sounds similar to what we're doing. But remember, you're asking yourself, is this the best strategy to use to achieve the objective? Let's look at B. All right, creating a manual on how to change a flat tire and asking the group to read it through with you. And then you provide feedback on areas that the group does not understand. Again, so similar to what can happen in class, where instead of a manual, you use a textbook. Children do some reading, and then you provide feedback on areas that they don't understand. You may use some questioning in here, so I can see as well what strategies are going to be used with this one. And then finally, demonstrating how to change a flat tire and asking each person in the group to change a flat tire. So again, we're seeing another way of teaching or providing instruction on how to change a flat tire. Which one do you think is best? And I would like to think that you chose C, because for this one, demonstrating how to change a flat tire and then asking persons really to follow what you did and change their own flat tire is the best way to ensure that that particular skill is acquired. Essentially, that's what you're doing with your teaching strategies. Now, if you have any questions in terms of other components of the lesson plan, or if you felt that there was something that I didn't explain very well, you can always message me and I'll be sure to provide any necessary assistance. Bye.